large rally in U.S. tech stocks has overlooked listed infrastructure, where we view companies as absolutely essential to the causes of generative AI, developing data centers, developing the power that supports that facility, developing the transmission networks that will enable growth at those facilities. We're seeing a lot of developments here in real time from our companies. Following up on a recent white paper on infrastructure AI, a quiet boom in listed infrastructure to support artificial intelligence, wanted to provide some materials for you to get into that a little bit further. Again, if you have any questions on listed infrastructure or on real assets more broadly, please reach out to me or please reach out to the appropriate CBRE representative. But summarizing things here for you on a slide. The most obvious source of strength from generative AI in the listed infrastructure universe is data centers, which we consider a core part of that overall universe. We have companies within our portfolios that are offering high single-digit earnings growth over the anticipated future as a result of generative AI, of the need for overall data demand. On the ground in real time, these companies are seeing tremendous pricing power. We have decade-low vacancies for data center assets today, and we're seeing double-digit pricing increases for these portfolios. So an incredibly strong development there. More underappreciated, in our view, is the call for U.S. power to support these overall facilities. So as recently as their fourth quarter earnings call, one of the largest utilities in the United States announced a paradigm shift, a step change in the outlook for load growth from their subsidiary assets, a tremendous augmentation to prior forecasts, multiples above prior levels. This should be enhancement to earnings in the short term. This should be an enhancement to earnings in the long term as the need to support this load growth and the investment becomes increasingly clear to public regulators. And it's not just an isolated company-specific example. We are seeing that across the United States utility landscape today. The last thing that we wanted to mention too is the degree to which clean energy is being called upon to draw power to data center assets and facilities. The lion's share of the PPA, the power purchase agreement market, is being driven by large tech customers in particular who want to minimize their carbon footprint. So this is tremendously augmented to the backlogs of the renewable developers in our portfolio. That draw on clean power extends to nuclear, low carbon assets, where some companies in our portfolios are announcing an outlook for double-digit earnings growth over the intermediate term with the potential for upside, which is leading to a reevaluation from a public market perspective in terms of the valuation for those sorts of companies and those sorts of assets. So some very strong opportunities here. When we look at valuation for listed infrastructure as a whole, we see an incredible discount here for investors. So over the left, on the left-hand chart, you can see here the absolute multiple at which listed infrastructure trades, juxtaposed against global equities there. You can also see, in turn, the valuation on a relative basis at which listed infrastructure stands. So a very significant discount, double-digit discount, which has historically preceded strong levels of absolute and total relative return for the asset class. This is an asset class that has outpaced broad equities over time, both in terms of cash flow and in terms of total returns. It has also done so with less volatility. And so you can see the historical track record here, also inclusive of the look against U.S. inflation. So again, a very strong opportunity in our view for investors to de-risk broad equities, to add to listed infrastructure, an asset class which is absolutely essential to generative AI development, but which in our view has been overlooked in the U.S. tech market rally that we've seen here over the course of the last year. So again, any questions, please reach out to me. Please reach out to the appropriate representative, and good luck with your efforts in the remainder of this year.